Well, hi again, everybody. The season continues for the John Tyler Lions with a big ball game coming up on Friday night at Tiger Stadium in Corsicana against Corsicana in this newly realigned district. It'll be the first time these two teams have met in a while. Looking forward to that. The Lions come in off a bye week, 4-1 as they prepare for their first district game of 2012. And Coach Ricklan Holmes is with us, and this is now where that season starts that really does have an impact on the playoffs. So everything starts over 0-0, and this Corsicana game's a tough way to start out too, isn't it?
Yes, we call it the second season. You know, the first season, preseason, second season is the district, and that's what we're ready to roll into. We didn't come into the district play like we wanted to. We wanted to be undefeated coming into it, but we came into it with a pretty good record and some pretty good wins up under our belt against some real good opponents. And I feel like going against those schools that we went against are going to help us be prepared for our district opponents.
Yeah,
so,
and again, it's a short season too because, I mean, you had to round up 5 non-district games.
Yeah.
So this is a 5-game sprint to the end, so each one of these games is big, isn't it?
Every last one of these games are big because you want to put yourself in a position to make a playoff run, and to do that, you have to win a certain amount of games in your district pool to be included in that. So what we have to do, we have to make sure that we take one game at a time, starting with Corsicana this Friday, and make sure we go in there and we handle our business and do things that we need to do to put ourselves in a position to win the game.
Now, how did the bye week go for you?
It went real good for, we cut back some practice a little bit. We still practice. I mean, it's not an off week, it's called a bye week. Gave our kids a little bit of time to, come over some bumps and some bruises. We got some guys back that's at 100% that, they've been playing the last couple of games about 90, 80%. And now everybody's back to 100%. So we're ready to roll in the district now.
And we'll talk more about Corsicana, but just an overview, they had a very deep playoff run last year. I think they got to the semifinals.
They went to the same stage that we went to last year. They went to the semifinals and they lost the same time that we lost. So, they're coming back with a real good group, minus the big-time running back that they had last year. But other than that, I think they pretty much have everybody in sustainable places like they did last year.
And you're playing them on the road.
Playing them on the road at their home stadium. We normally have played at that stadium in the playoffs. So I think we won a couple there and we lost a couple there. So, you can look at it either way you want to look at it, but I like that stadium. It's a real nice stadium.
It is.
They do a great job, having it taken care of, and the setup is nice.
And you were telling me before the show that, by the way, when the playoffs do roll around, that has been a favored spot for the playoffs, but you can't use that this year. Tell us why.
Because it's a district opponent stadium, you're not supposed to use a district opponent stadium to play a playoff game in. Has to do something with some certain type of rule or whatever. So I just know that, we probably won't be using that anytime soon.
Not that you don't want to.
Not that I don't want to. I don't mind playing there. Like I say, it's a good venue to play in. It's a real nice setup. They can hold a sustainable amount of people. And since we travel a lot with our Cujo Nation fans, so, it's a good arrangement, not just for the football team, but for the fans also.
How do you feel about the first half of the season?
I feel pretty comfortable with it. Like I said, we didn't come out the way that we wanted to come out, but I've seen improvement from game 1 all the way to game 5. I've seen some guys step up that we needed to see step up, and I've seen the guys do that I know what they can do what they're supposed to do. And coming out of that 5-game stretch, especially against the 5A opponents that we went through. 3 of them. Yeah. Those teams that we played right there were real good teams, and they're going to make a run in the playoff at the 5A level. So I feel like, we came out good against those guys. I think that we'll be well prepared for our 4A opponents. And
where was the biggest area of improvement from what you expected to what you saw in these first 5 ball games?
Defense and special teams. Our offense is always going to be our offense. Everybody expect the big plays out of Ward and Fred Ross and Darren Flowers and DeQuante Wood. You expect stuff out of those guys right there, Justice Liggins. But the defensive side of the ball, that was a main concern of mine coming into this season, making sure that we don't put our offense in an unawkward position to have to score. We want to score because we want to score. It's time for us to score, not because we need to score to win this football game. And the way the defense has been playing from game 1 all the way to game 5 has been outstanding. And improvement week in and week out has continued to go forward. They hadn't stood still, and they hadn't went backwards. And then the special team. That was one thing that hurt us a lot last year too. We wasn't very consistent in the special team with the kicking game, especially the punt and the kickoff. You know, that was one of the deals that hurt us. And along with the new rules and how we got how people are lined up, that helps us out a little bit too on the special team side of the ball.
All right, let's go ahead and roll the tape. Coach Holmes brings along game video of the first 5 ball games, some highlights of some of the first 5 ball games of the year. And we'll get us a sampling of some of those big plays, looking back on it, beginning with the game in the Classic against Lufkin, one of your old rivals.
As you see, this is the first play of the game. You know, something that we practice called a freeze play, to jump them off sides. It's really a free play, knowing that you got a penalty, but you can still continue to extend the play, and that's what we did right there.
It was to Fred Ross.
Yes, sir.
And again, Lufkin team that had beaten you the year before, so that was a nice one to get, too.
It's always a good time to come out and beat an opponent that beat you the previous year. And this was the play right here to Reggie Gibson up the sideline, and as you see, he takes the distance.
Reggie had a nice night that night. Greg had a big night. It was the East Texas Player of the Week after this ball game. Here he is again.
Little swing pass to Darren Flowers. He just makes the play out to himself with the ball in his hand.
Pretty good athletic ability to maintain his balance.
Most definitely.
Absolutely.
I tell you guys all the time to stay in bounds.
And I think this is going to be Greg putting on a little bit of a show here. Greg Ward.
And just let you know what he can do with the ball in his hand and with his feet.
30-yard touchdown run. Pretty exciting stuff there, and not done for the night. Again, Lufkin, a 5A program, has great tradition, always goes to the playoffs, and here's a nice play as well.
Just extending the play with his feet and letting the receivers get open.
Touchdown pass to Ross, 38 yards. And you won that game 35-21.
Yes.
Second week of the season, this is the Lancaster game.
No, this was a scrimmage deal.
Okay. Oh, this scrimmage was long.
Yeah, I wanted to show how we started out the season, you know, just showing everybody that, you know, coming into a short week of practice, getting prepared for a tough Longview team to scrimmage. You know, we came out pretty crisp, and especially on the offense side of the ball, and the defense side showed improvement that day.
Yeah, this is the scrimmage against Longview, and again, we know what Longview's all about.
Yeah, you know, a rough, tough team, very fundamentally sound, and just to see that we could take advantage of situations against those type of players right there is good for the program.
You're on offense here, right?
Yeah.
Who scores here?
Greg? That was Reggie.
Reggie, okay.
Yeah.
Reggie Gibson. Yeah, not playing Longview. Are you going to play Longview next year? No, you got a 2-year deal, don't you?
I would like to. You know, it'll be after this year.
All right, now the Lancaster game. And this was the second game of the year. You're number 1 in the state here going into this game, right?
Yes, sir.
And they're good, too. You could see them again in the playoffs, right?
We could see them, depending on what place they come in and how far they go and how far we go. And this is against Mesquite Horn.
A game at E.H. Handy
No, this is the Lee.
This is the Lee game? Okay.
Lee. I'm looking at the color red. That's Fred going up the sideline against them. A handoff play right there.
Was that Reggie Gibson?
Yeah, it was Reggie.
Now here you are on defense, and keep in mind, you pitched a shutout. You're talking about your defensive improvement. You shut them out.
Yes.
Plays like this.
That's the Quante Woods getting that big interception. That pretty much sealed the game and put it out of reach. Like I said, he's been having a phenomenal year on not just the offensive side of the ball, but now the defensive side.
Now this is the Horn game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the Horn game. That's Fred going around the left end.
The 64-yard
pass
touchdown.
Play to Justice Liggins. That's pretty easy catch. I'm one of the type of balls you don't want to drop when you're wide open like that.
It was a high-scoring ball game. A lot of offense in this game.
Well, there's a lot of offense against that.
That's a touchdown pass, I think, to Fred Ross. Okay. Now, is this the pass that Bowser?
Yes, it's the pass of Bowser, showing his athleticism. going across the middle of the field, catching a big ball and getting a big score.
And Greg's going to take off again.
And making some plays happen with his feet, and I think this is a play that pretty much helped us get the game under control. And this is us against Tigres.
On a rainy night.
Rainy night, monsoon night. Showing that we can still throw the ball in the rain.
You know what? That's no small matter because you never know what you're going to run into in November, December.
You never know, and I'm glad that we faced it now.
Sure, absolutely.
Glad that we faced it now.
I mean, there are days that are going to be not going to be ideal for football. Here's your Tyus Bowser, right?
By Tyus Bowser. It's us against Horn again on the defensive side of the ball. Coming up with a big play right here, stopping them. It's us against Lee on the defensive side of the ball. I love the way that we've learned how to disguise our coverages and make quarterbacks check out of deals that they normally don't want to check out of. That was a good defensive sack right there. Another one right here.
Who got that sack?
Tyus
Bowser.
Coming off the edge.
And here's the Lee game again. Another quarterback sack.
Another one swarming to the ball. You love to see our jerseys around the ball more than theirs.
This is the Lufkin
game.
First game of the year, defensive play coming up here.
I think it's going to be a big interception by Terry Osborne right here. Quarterback gets flushed out. I know it's a sack.
Here's the pick, we think.
I think just a pick right here. If he don't get sacks, that's another sack again.
Still in the Lufkin game, first game of the year.
That's the fumble. Big sack, big play.
All right, again, the scores in the first half of the season, JTB Lufkin 35-21, Lancaster a loss, the only loss 26-21. The win over Robert E. Lee was 21-0. The win over Horn was 35-30, and the win over Tigres, Mexico in the rain was 20-10. You know, you could make a case, couldn't you, that if you're going to pick an MVP for this team, what has Tyus Bowser not done for you so far in these first?
I think the only thing he hasn't done was drive the bus to the games.
He hadn't coached. He's probably done a little of that on the field, too.
He's done a little bit of coaching on the field. You know, Tyus makes some great adjustments out there. You know, him and Richard Gibson, they pretty much, you know, make sure everybody's lined up, especially with Tyus, make sure everybody's on sides and stuff like that. And, you know, with his athletic ability that he has, you know, being able to move, and as strong as he is, that's why he's able to do the things he's able to do.
Yeah, there was one sequence, maybe it was the Tigres game, he played quarterback and then caught the pass, recovered a fumble.
That was Lancaster.
Lancaster, okay.
Lancaster game. He played quarterback and caught a touchdown pass as a wide receiver. He got sacks. So, I mean, he pretty much is a jack of all trades.
So what does he play in college?
I'm going to say everybody that's been coming and talking about him, you know, all the college recruits that's coming in, all of them want to play defensive end. A couple of them have talked about putting him at a tight end position, but most of them is at the defensive end.
There's really nothing. There's really no wrong answer there either.
It really isn't. It really isn't. You know, it's kind of like with him and Greg. You know, with them being as athletic as they are and able to do the things that they're able to do on both sides of the ball. You got to toss up with kids like that. You got to toss up with kids. Like
and this is as talented a group. I mean, this is very comparable to the mid-'90s, is it not?
It really is. It really, and it doesn't just have to do with the talent ability. It has to do with the mind frame of these kids. These kids, they're coming out there and they're expecting to win. They're not playing to lose. They're not playing not to try to lose. They're playing to win now. And that's a little bit of that mentality that we had in the 90s. You know, I tell the kids all the time, when we played people, we didn't go out there expecting to beat somebody.
Right.
You know, we was trying to figure out how bad we was gonna beat people. You know, and that came with the mentality that we knew that we was prepared. We knew we had the game plan in, and we knew we had the athletes to do what we needed to do. And that's the same thing with these kids.
How much is that belief in winning? I mean, obviously, you got to have the physical ability, but how much of a difference does just that sheer belief that there's no way we're going to lose this game? How much of a factor is that?
That's a big factor in any football game because, things are not going to always go the way that you want them to go during the course of the game.
Yeah.
But if you have that belief in your mind that you're going to get the job done, you can get the job done, that gives you a little bit of a competitive edge on the other team.
Now, you got through this, the banged up players you had, you got those guys back, and you're pretty confident that you're at 100%.
Oh, yeah.
That you've refilled the tank, right?
Yeah, we refilled the tank. We just left the gas station. So, with those kids back, we feel real confident we're going to be able to do what we want to do and accomplish our second goal, which is winning the district championship. How much
has Ricklan Holmes learned about being a head coach in these first 5 ball games?
I've learned a lot. I've learned that, and I pretty much knew this from, just being next to Rush during the course that I've been here and with Coach Mark Little in Oklahoma. I always expect the unexpected. I always prepare for the worst, but you play to be the best. And with preparation, dedication, and effort, anything is possible.
How much of a learning curve is there to be a head coach as opposed to being a position coach? It's still the same game, but what's the difference on the sidelines?
It's less coaching and more paying attention. It's more motivation and less direction, as I would say. Because as a head coach, you're basically the manager of the team, of the coaches and the players. And you got to make sure that you have everything in a row and lined out so that we can be successful. And that's the main thing about being a head coach, is just making sure that, people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and you have a plan of action, and it's carried out every day.
Do you wear a headset?
I do wear a headset.
Okay.
I do wear a headset. I've got kind of used to not wearing one because several games that we had this season, we had some technical difficulties, and I had to let Coach Anderson, which was my DC, wear it one time. Then one time I had to let Coach Bush wear it, was my offensive coordinator. And like I said, I think it's more of them needing to communicate with the guys that's in the box than me, because they can always run down there to me and I can tell them what to do, or I can signal down there and I can tell them what to do. But they mainly are the ones that need to have one. I think I more want to have one so I can hear what they are doing than anything.
But the head coach has to see the big picture, right? You have to be thinking ahead.
You got to be thinking ahead. Like I said, you got to prepare for the worst, at any given time. And you got to be able to know what you need to have your people do to get them things accomplished. I tell our kids all the time, there's no excuses, only solutions. And I'm the solution man. So you don't need to give me any excuses, because I'm not going to give them any.
Is there ever a time during the game when something happens that you go over and turn your back on the action, talk to the offense or the defense, or do you try to stay engaged out there?
I try to stay engaged with the flow of the game. I try not to go back there with the offense when they're on the bench. I try not to go back there with the defense when they're on the bench. But sometimes you have to go back there because you have to put your presence out there and let the kids know, hey, I'm seeing what you're doing. I understand what needs to be done. You need to listen to your coach and get this corrected. And that hasn't happened very much during the course of this season. It probably happened the most probably against the Tigers because of the rain. The kids was losing a little bit of focus and things wasn't going the way they wanted them to go.
Well, it's really interesting stuff, and generally, so when you turn around and come back, that ain't good, right?
Yeah, it ain't good when I come back there, and the kids are starting to understand that. Just like in practice, or like the course of the game, if you see Coach Holmes coming that way, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be a good outcome when he get there. And they know, and they're starting to understand the way things need to go, not the way that they always want to go their way, but they need to go this way. And my coaches are doing a great job with the kids. Like I said, the guys that I brung in and the guys that I retained from, the rush leaving and stuff like that, is a good group of guys. They work hard, and their football knowledge is where it needs to be.
All right, let's talk a little bit about it, and we'll get back to Corsicana here in a bit. But there have been a lot of questions about a new system that you're using this year, Rank 1. Coach Casper wanted us to talk about that.
Yes.
Because you guys get tons of calls all the time about the 9th grade JV games. Where are they? When are they?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There is a way that you can find that out.
And it works out great.
All right.
What I've noticed, because I have a quick text that I have in my phone.
And this is for both you and Lee,
and
both using.
This is for the whole district.
Okay.
It's not just high school; it's middle school also.
Right.
And you go to this website, and it's also a deal to where you can go through it on your phone. And what I done was I set up a quick text to where I would send them a message, and all they had to do is touch on that link, and it automatically pulled up rank 1 on their phone.
But can't they go to the TylerISD.org website? That's how you start.
The easiest way to do it is to do it that way. You can go to the Tyler ISD main site, or you can go to the John Tyler site.
What's the John Tyler site?
If you go to the John Tyler site, it's the John Tyler High School Lions site, the main campus site, and all you got to do is click on athletics.
Well, what's the URL address for the John Tyler website?
I do not. I think it's www.
Well, just Google it.
JohnTylerHighSchool.org.
Okay, all right.
And you go to that, and to the far left, it says athletics. You click on athletics. You'll find football. You click on football, and it's 2 deals on there. One says schedule, and the other one says scores. You click on schedule, and it takes you directly to rank 1.
Okay, and then but it also you send out text, do you not, or to
updated info of all the games? Coach Moore.
Once you sign up, you get these emails and text, right?
Yes, you do. Anytime a site is changed, because we had several sites with the JV and the freshman team where we had to change sites, and they was playing at a different site. So as soon as my coaches go in there and they change it, it automatically shoots you an email, and then it tells you, well, they're not playing at Lancaster High School, they're playing at Lancaster Middle School, something like that.
And the times changed from 5:30 to 6 or whatever. Right.
Okay. And it's a cool deal. It's a great deal. It's an awesome informational tool that Coach Castle brought to Tyler, Texas, and I'm glad that we're using it because I have to answer less questions now.
Yeah.
You know, especially about what was the score or where we playing at, and it also gives you directions. Like on the site, like I say, when we played at Hanby Stadium, you would go to rank 1, it'll say site. Well, site is Mesquite Horn Hanby Stadium. You click on there, it automatically takes you to a Google site that has the directions on it.
Okay, all right.
And Felicia Whitaker is the one that helped set that up, and she's one of the secretaries in the athletic office.
And keep in mind, folks, how many moving parts there are to a football program, because you've got how many coaches out there that there's you and one. How many total coaches do you have?
I have a total, including me, I have 14 coaches.
14 coaches. And a varsity, 2 JVs, and 2 freshman teams, right?
Yes.
So you got 5 football teams you're dealing with every
week. I got
week.
a lot of teams out there.
I mean, which is a good problem to have. Means you got good numbers.
That's right.
But you got 5 football teams. There are 2 JVs, right?
Well, now
just one JV.
We combine
okay, so 4 teams.
Yeah, it's a lot on the JV squad.
All right, so you got the varsity. You got 1 JV and 2 freshman teams. So 4 freshman teams and over 200 kids moving in all directions, right?
Yes, sir. And then we have, like I said, we have a lot of kids in our program. I think this is the numbers that we were used to having back in the late 90s, you know, with a huge freshman squad, a great JV squad, and then, you know, you cut down the numbers for the varsity squad. So
yeah, right. To 53, right?
The 53-man roster. You got to make the 53-man roster. Everybody wants to be on that roster.
All right. What do you know about Corsicana? I mean, they played pretty tough non-district schedule. I don't think their record is what they want it to be, but you know they're a good football team, right?
They've played some solid football all the way up till now. They, you know, they lost a big-time tailback that they had last year. But other than that, the quarterbacks that they have been rotating with, those quarterbacks have been playing good. I hadn't quite figured out, you know, why they are rotating them as much as they are.
Yeah.
You would think that the later you get in the season, you would find somebody that you want to stick with. But those quarterbacks are real athletic. They're not good passers. They also have a pretty good running back, but he's not the same running back that they used to have. The defense is solid, and they don't make a lot of mistakes.
Throwing team or running team?
They're a running team. You know, they make their presence known on the ground, but they will throw the ball. But they try to make their presence known on the ground with a lot of different formation to get you to come out of the scheme that you play defensively. And the way Coach Anderson has our defense set up right now, we play a real simple defense. We play fast, and we just keep the kids from thinking.
Yeah. And when you got athletes like that, though, you can
do that.
You can do that, right?
You can do that.
Coach Castles, the Corsicana coach, used to be at Chapel Hill, and we remember him being a running coach. Pretty conservative. Yeah. I mean, he'd like to, if he can beat you running the football, he'll do that, right? He'll try to do that, right?
Especially if he gets that success early.
Right.
He's going to stick with it. He's got behind in a couple of games, and he had to try to convert his offense into really some stuff that he don't really want to do. Then he found a little bit of success with it earlier this season, you know, being able to throw the ball with the quarterbacks that he have and the receivers that he have. So he's been the later part of the season. He's kind of been a little balanced now. So
what's the key to winning on the road, especially in a tough house like that?
Key to winning on the road is just going down there and just make sure you're playing your style of football, making sure that you're going down there to beat you and not beat the team that you're going against. Because if you go out there trying to beat yourself, then 9 times out of 10 you're going to be successful because you know what you can do. And you're not playing off of the other team, you're playing off of yourself.
This is only the 3rd true road game you've had this year.
Yes.
You were the visitor at Rose Stadium against Lee, but I mean, that doesn't count. But you lose at Lancaster, but you win at E.H. Hanby Stadium. So, it's always a little bit of a challenge to get everybody moving in the right direction and go, especially a game as important as this one, right?
Yeah, because anytime you get on the bus and your kids get on a ride for a certain amount of distance, you worry about that focus, getting on the bus, getting off the bus, getting dressed, making sure you don't leave anything. And, anything can throw these kids for a loop. So you just try to keep everything consistent as you possibly can and try to keep their focus more on the football game versus on getting to the football game.
I always laughed at Alan Wilson about this. You played for him. Alan believed in showing up about just long enough to get off the bus
and I believe in that too.
Is that what? How early do you get to the game? I'm just curious because that's the way Alan. That's the way he rolled.
Yeah, we get there. We get there enough to get tape, get dressed, go through our pregame routine, and go back in the locker room.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that idle time because with that idle time comes thoughts of things that you don't want to think about, things that you thought that you was prepared for, you don't think you prepared for, and it just gives the kids too much time to sit around and
get nervous
and stuff like that. So
I laughed at him. There was a game against Trimble Tech at Fort Worth back 7 whatever the last year he coached at John Tyler. But the bus driver got lost going to Fort Worth, so they barely got there. But just enough time to get dressed, a real quick warm up, play the football game. Cut it a little close that day, but that's that's one way to do it. Just get there, get your business done, get on the bus, and get home. Right?
It's a business trip, man. I don't believe in being late, but I don't believe in being extra early either. So we plan our time accordingly, and our kids understand why we do it, and they just roll with it.
Tell me about the district. What's your thoughts now that district play begins in this newly realigned district? New district opponents this year include Corsicana, Lindale.
Yeah.
You're in a district with Jacksonville, White House, and who else? Am I overlooking anybody? Nacogdoches.
Yeah, well, with Nacogdoches, Jacksonville, and White House, we've already played them before in the same district. Now you throw a new 4A team from 3A with Lindale, and now you take a
traditional
powerhouse out of Corsicana, and you add them in the mix. I think we have a pretty tough district. With us, Corsicana, White House, being pretty much proven and being successful. You throw Lindale, that's been successful at the 3A level. Now you try to see where they fit in at the 4A level. Jacksonville, with their new coach and his system that he's putting into place.
They've had success in the past.
They've had success in the past, and they're going to be successful this year. I think Coach Tabor has done a great job with those kids over there and getting them back focused into winning and feeling how to and knowing how to win and prepare to win. And he has the athletes to do it. So
looking back on it, I mean, the switch to 4A has been good for John Tyler.
It has been. It has been. 4A and 5A, nothing's different but numbers.
Yeah.
You look at teams like us and you look at teams like DeSoto, and we're both pretty good. But at the same time, they got more than we do. So that's where the numbers, fall into play. And that's how it's going to be with Lindale, with them coming from 3A to 4A. It's going to be the same deal with them.
All right, good luck, Coach.
I appreciate it.
Again, Tiger Stadium in Corsicana is where was the scene of the action on Friday night. Should be a lot of fun. It's a great stadium, easy to get to off Highway 31. The Lions deserve and need your support. That game kicks off at 7:30 on Friday night, and it is the district opener. It's a big one. For Coach Holmes, I'm Bill Coates. Thanks for joining us.